That's what you get, and you can't complain. Good morning. Morning. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. It's been a while since we've read Higurashi, I feel. It hasn't really been a while. A week? If it's only been a week, it definitely feels longer than a week. If it's been a week and a half, then it feels appropriate. It might have only been a week. Have I heard of the Case of the Golden Idol? I have, yeah. It's in that genre of games, and I'm like, damn. The long list of puzzle-esque games that I need to play. Very, very awesome, and also not long. I know it's not that long. I've heard it's not that long. Yeah, there was a sequel to the game. I know it has some DLC, and then I think the sequel recently came out to it too, and people like that one as well. Generally around the same as what I heard. I'll get to it though. Someday. Someday, eyes emoji. That's what I'm gonna start saying every time someone's like, damn, you should play that. I'll just be very non-committal to it and always just be like, someday, eyes emoji. Double eyes emoji. I'm sure you're gonna mega enjoy it. Mega enjoy it is the claim? That's a bold claim. That's a bold claim. To say mega enjoy it and then like me potentially not enjoy it is the type of fear that I live with whenever I try to recommend something for someone. That's crazy. I would never be so bold and so confident. I would never do that to anyone. I would never do it to myself, I should say. That's why I always talk about this, but I generally don't like recommending necessarily like straight up things for people, even like friends. Like it has to be like a really good friend that I can live with the consequences, and then if I'm wrong, it's fine. Less pressure. You know, I hate living with the feeling that I recommend something to someone and then they don't like it. It's weird. It shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be that much pressure, and it shouldn't like destroy me inside so much, but it just does. Which is not surprising. Like consider everything about me, how socially I don't want to say inept necessarily, but socially anxious of a person I am. And it's like, oh, it makes perfect sense that you would put so much weight on something like that, but it's just a true thing. It's just a true fact. All right, so I have reason to believe that if I read a bit tonight, and then we read a good chunk on Saturday, that I think we can actually finish the arc we're on. And then we're gonna have to take a long, hard look at ourselves in the mirror about. I mean, I don't want to sound so dramatic about it, but not like I've made any actual hard choices yet, but a hard look at ourselves in the mirror about the rest of the reading, like at what pace we're going to read the rest of this Higurashi stuff. So we'll have to see what happens on Saturday, basically. So thank you. Appreciate it. Have fun still at work. And just know that if I ever get to Case of the Golden Idol, you'll live with that pressure. I will social. I will. I don't know. I can't complete the sentence. I will I will judge harsh. Huh. Well, I'm glad you liked it, because like I said, I've heard good stuff about it. So good to hear more. Praise. I think it's been a week, but if it's been a week or more since we last read. I think the last time we read was Shion going slightly berserk, starting to lose herself, getting over the whole Satoko thing, but everyone coming to the aid, her friends, and everyone being like, no, or not Satoko, Satoshi, hey, you know, including Satoko being the important factor there, being like, no, Shion, no need to go berserk mode right now. Everything will be okay. Everything will be okay. And she's like, you know what? Everything will be okay. I don't have to kill Irie right here. Because she was going to kill Irie. Irie was going to die. When he heard the story, he felt totally lost. After all, he thought retirement pay was something precious. Nevertheless, by the crack of dawn and after burning through an entire pack of cigarettes, Oishi had made up his mind. He called Kumagai, and the old man from forensics into a room and told them everything. Oh, was also the last thing we talked about or watched here was it the whole Oishi retirement pension versus going out and trying to continue and finish the mission here? I think that was kind of the thing. I think so we might be continuing that here. I know I'm repeating myself, but this is a dangerous bridge we're crossing here. If I get a simple warning, that's okay, but if I get reprimanded, they'll probably take away my pension. Oh, hey, Oishi.
お前、やばい作戦の前にはいつも隣の雀荘に部下を集めてそう脅してるそうじゃないか。
You always gather your colleagues at the mahjong parlor next door and threaten them every time you have a dangerous mission.
いつもと変わらん変わらん。のう。
The same old thing, right?
そうっすよ、おいさん。
Yeah, Oishi-san.
いつものようにもっと元気に退職金が欲しい人は10数えてくださいってやってくださいよ。
Why don't you say if you don't want to lose your pension, leave while I count to 10 with more oomph in your voice like you usually do?
そうじゃないとなんか変な感じっす。
Unless you say it that way, it just doesn't sound right.
いや、本当にやばい話なんですよ、クマちゃん。
Well, this seriously is dangerous, Kuma-chan.
その覚悟は本当にあるんですか?
Are you really prepared to lose your pension?
試しに10数えてみればいいじゃないですか。
Why don't you count to 10 then?
なら今日は俺が数えるっす。
Fine, I'll count.
退職金が欲しいやつは10数える間に退出してください。
If you don't want to lose your retirement money, leave before I count to 10.
1、2、3。
1, 2, 3.
わかりました、わかりました。
Okay.
クマちゃんの覚悟はよくわかりました。
I got it, Kuma-chan. You're serious.
いや、しかし、本当にいいんですね。
But still, are you sure you're okay with it?
俺、あの日赤坂さんの武勇伝を聞いてるうちに熱くなってきたんす。
Yes. I'm really psyched up from what I heard from Akasuka-san the other day.
やはり刑事になったからには巨悪と戦いたい。
I became a policeman because I believe in justice.
それに、俺もやがては赤坂さんみたいに武勇伝を誇れる男になりたいんですよ。
Someday, I want to be able to talk about the things I've been through like Akasuka-san does.
やばい橋、上等じゃないですか。
A dangerous mission? That sounds fantastic.
それに、大石さんの提案する作戦で俺たち一度も失敗したことないです。
Besides, your ideas have never failed before.
だから俺、その大石さんがいけると思って誘った作戦ならビビりませんよ。
So, if you think this operation will succeed, then I'm all for it.
若いというのはいいの。
How nice it is to be young.
こいつな、あの日以来赤坂君にだいぶ感化されおっての。
You know, Kasuga-kun's become quite the inspiration for him.
秘密捜査や秘密事件に関わりたいと息巻いとったんじゃ。
Keeps talking about how he wants to be involved in secret investigations now.
はあ
Ha ha.
いや若いっていいな。
Well, it is nice to be young, I guess.
それでじいさまはどうします？
And what about you?
わしも乗るぞい。
Ha, I'm in.
というか、そこまで言われたら、外車の検視がそいつらをしょっぴけるかどうかを左右することにもなるからな。
I mean, sounds like everything depends on if I can pull the victim's autopsy report.
今日まで散々不養生を重ねてきた。
Been neglecting my health all these years.
そうそうこの老いぼれが長生きすることもないだろ
Frankly, I don't think I have much longer to live.
う。なら、男に生まれたからには最後くらい、でかい花を咲かせたいもんじゃい。
As a man, I want to do something grand before I die.
やれやれ。
My, my.
じいさまもクマちゃんもとにかく怖いもの知らずだな。
You two sure are fearless.
だからドラが3つもまくれてても強気でリーチ入っちゃうんだな。
That's why you declare Ricci even with 3-flip Dora.
何言ってんすか、おいさん。
What are you saying, Oishi-san?
男なら降りられない時がある。どうせ切るならど真ん中っ
As a man, I can't refuse. If you're going to cut something, cut it right in the middle.
てのは大石さんの口癖っすよ。
That's what you always say.
違いない違いない。
Mm-hmm. She's not wrong.
わかりました。
I get it.
お二人の首私が預からせてもらいます。
If your necks end up on the line, I'll be responsible.
そうと決まれば、わしの方も少々準備がいる。
I'll have to make some preparations first.
今のメンツと機材じゃ、薬物系まで調べるのは難しいからな。
It's difficult to analyze the drugs with our current personnel and equipment.
急いで知り合いの鑑識の中から手の空いた連中を呼びつけるか。
Maybe I'll call in my acquaintances in forensics to lend a hand.
おいし、全部終わった後はちょいとでかくおごってもらうぞい。
Oishi, when all this is over, you have to treat me to something big, okay?
いい
Of course.
そこは任せてください。
Look forward to it.
ですが打ち明ける相手にはくれぐれも注意してくださいよ。
But please make sure to be careful who you talk to, alright?
署内にスパイ混じってるそうですから。
They told me there are some spies at the police station.
分かってる。わしも伊達に人は見とらん。
Don't worry, I know who I can trust.
任せとけ。
Count on me for that at least.
よーし、燃えてきたっす。
Alright, I'm fired up!
刑事魂本開っすよ。
My detective spear is burning bright! It had taken Oishi all night to come to a decision, but those two had decided immediately. Couldn't help but question himself.
では私はこのままちょいと用事があるんで出かけます。
Okay, I have some errands to run, so I'm going to get going.
いきなりの無茶な頼みですみませんでしたね。
I apologize for suddenly making such an unreasonable request.
何構わん。
Ah, don't worry about that.
久々に男の血がうずいてきやった。
It's been a while since something got my blood boiling.
これほど腕のなる大舞台、わしの人生でもこの年になって初めてじゃわい。
In all the years of my life, this is the first big stage to really test my manhood.
ビビるどころか、ここは楽しませてもらうぞい。
I'm not afraid. I'm gonna enjoy this.
俺も同じっす。やってやりましょう、おいさん。
Same here. Let's do it, Oishi-san.
ありがとうございます。じいさま、クマちゃん。
Thank you, old-timer. Kuma-chan. Oishi turned to the two of them with a powerful smile and deeply bowed his head in appreciation. The balloon flowers he bought 3 days ago for the offering are still in bloom, albeit a little shriveled, and those white petals shined in the afternoon sun. The date was June 22nd. The real anniversary was some time ago, but as Oishi had to work on Watanagashi every year, he usually commemorated it on the previous day instead, and he came here once again after the festival. He was hoping to one day deliver a report at this grave, but in the end, he came to deliver another apology this year. To the man Oishi considered a best friend, a brother, a father, a familiar-looking face appeared for a moment amongst the black tombstones, shouting and readying himself for a fight before vanishing.
毎年毎年
Every year.
今年こそは犯人を捕まえてやる。そして犠牲者は出さない。
I say this is the year I catch the killer, and there won't be any more victims.
なんて誓っていますが、今年もやられちゃいましたよ。
I swore that, and yet I failed again this year. The white balloon flowers and purple hydrangeas stayed in the breeze as Oishi muttered, and that towards the tombstone. Swayed in the breeze.
ですが、ようやくおやっさんの死の真相に近づく機会を得ました。
But I finally got the chance to get close to the truth.
それが笑っちゃうんですよ。
You know, it's kind of funny.
園崎家は関係ないって言うんです。
As it turns out, the Sonozaki family has nothing to do with it.
私は毎年ここにお寮のばあさんを連れてきて土下座させるって誓ってきたのに、それが全くの大外れだって言うんですよ。
I kept promising you year after year that I'd bring Oryu here and have her grovel an apology, but I was so wrong this whole time.
私はすっかり参ってしまいましたね。
I don't know what to say.
まあ、おやっさんにげんこつもらっちまいます。
You'd probably smack me if you were here.
勝手に当たり牌を誤解してベタ折りしまくった挙句にドカンと痛い目に遭う。
I thought I knew the winning tiles, and after countless safe discards, I got slammed with a bad hit.
決めつけないできっちり手を進めてりゃ、でっかい手がちゃんとできてたかもしれないのにです。
If I had made that assumption and focused on filling my hand, then I might have been able to get a big one.
私は全然進歩してません。
I haven't made any progress at all.
麻雀も相変わらずですよ。
It's the same with Mahjong.
こんな一度思い込んだら疑うことも知らない頭の固いやつは多分バカって言うんだろうなって思います。
I'm a fool for getting ideas into my head and then not doubting them even a bit. The way Irie had phrased it, even Oishi could hardly guess, or already guess, there was no dark secret behind the old man's tragic murder. The events that followed were separate incidents. A particular murder was an individual incident, and it had nothing to do with anything else. And since the main culprit was the only one who wasn't caught, Oishi needed someone to blame, and the mysterious Sonozaki family was the perfect target. So the drama of revenge that Oishi believed in never existed.
私は今やばい橋を渡ろうとしてます。
I'm thinking of doing something really dangerous.
リスクの割に大した見返りはありません。
Considering the risk, there isn't much in terms of reward.
せいぜい私というバカな思い込みを解いてくれるだろう真実ってやつを教えてもらえるだけです。
If anything, I might find out the truth.
ですが、なんだかやっと私は自分ってやつを許せそうな気がします。
But I feel like I can finally forgive myself. Oishi bowed deeply before the grave, and then he heard footsteps behind him. It had to be someone else who knew the old man. A person can't come on the day of Wanagashi every year either, so they come on another day, just like Oishi does. And they always bring blue hydrangeas. Purple balloon flowers and those blue flowers don't go well together. That's the reason why Oishi always picks white ones. And those hydrangeas were on display once again this year. It's been 2 days, but visiting grave isn't a race. It's a spiritual matter. Wondering who it might be that always leaves flowers before and after the anniversary date, just like him, Oishi looked up.
これは
Well, well.
皆さんもどなたかのお墓参りですかな。
Are you visiting someone's grave too? Oishi stated the obvious. But from one glance he could guess everything. Upon seeing the hydrangeas in her arms, it all made sense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we kind of seen this before, right? Oh my.
あんた、勤務中じゃないのかい？
Aren't you supposed to be working?
悪いお人だね、まったく。
What are you doing here? Akane Sonozaki laughed as she handed a bouquet of hydrangeas to Kasai, who was standing beside her. Kasai turned toward Oishi and silently adjusted his sunglasses. He had mixed feelings, considering they both regarded one another as long-standing enemies.
ほら、いつまでもお墓の前で突っ立ってんじゃないよ。
Hey, How long are you gonna stand there?
そこをどき。
Come on, move over.
まさかあんたが毎年おやっさんにアジサイを。
So you're the one leaving hydrangeas every year.
綺麗だろ。うちの庭のやつなのさ。
Aren't they beautiful? They're from my backyard.
やっぱり6月はアジサイさね。
Hydrangeas are beautiful in June.
あんたの気境も珍しいね。
Your balloon flowers are fairly unusual.
白いのもあるのかい。
White ones, huh?
それも涼しそうで良さげだよ。
They're nice.
失礼。
Pardon me. Kane took the bouquet from Kasai, then knelt down in front of the grave, got the flowers ready. She replaced the slightly worn hydrangeas in the vase and set them alongside the balloon flowers. The flowers looked beautiful in the vase together, reminding their onlookers that summer was about to start.
空前にしちゃいい取り合わせじゃないかい。
What a coincidence. They match very well.
白に青によく引き立て合ってるよ。
It makes a nice contrast with the white and the blue.
毎年私が来るとアジサイがありましたからね。
I saw blue hydrangeas every year I came.
青い花じゃ相性が悪いと思いまして。
I thought blue flowers wouldn't go well with purple ones.
なんだ。なら私たち相性はバッチリじゃないかい。
I see. Then we should get along just fine, huh?
そうですね。
Yeah, I guess. No.
どうしたんだい。今日は愛想がいいね。
What's the matter? You're more cordial than usual.
ひょっとして医者に不治の病でも宣告されたのかい。
Perhaps you recently got a terminal diagnosis?
だ
Damn.
としたらいろいろ世話になった手向けだ。あんたの墓にもちゃんとアジサイを飾ってやるから安心しな。
Don't worry. I'll be sure to honor all you've done for us by bringing hydrangeas to your grave, too.
あとうちの組の店にツケが残ってるだろう。
Oh, by the way, you still owe us at one of our shops, don't you?
そいつの請求書を備えに来てやるよ。
I'll bring a bill, too. No.
やれやれ。愛も変わらず口の減らないお人です。
Oh boy, you never run out of things to say, do you?
あいにくまだ当分お迎えは来ないみたいです。
Well, I don't plan on leaving this world quite yet.
定年までもうラストスパートですが、まだまだ行きますよ。
Won't be long until my retirement, but I'm still going strong.
なら結構。
That's good then.
沖宮の一市民としては公僕の頼もしい一言で安心だね。
As a citizen of Okinomiya, I'm glad to hear such reliable words. The conversation should have been coded in social courtesies, yet something felt a little off about it.
しかし、一つ教えちゃくれませんかね。
Can you tell me one thing?
死守同盟と現場監督のおやつさんは犬猿の仲だったはずでしょう。
The Guardians and the old man, the site manager. They didn't get along, did they?
そのトップの関係者のあんたがどうして花を添えてくれるんです
So why would a top official like you bring flowers for him?
そりゃ
Trying to drink water there.
猿さね。
No, we didn't get along at all.
私たちは敵同士。
We were mighty enemies.
ねえ、葛西。
Right, Kasai?
ま
You could say that.
あ、あの頃は私も若かったものですから、
I was much younger myself back in those days.
いろいろと無茶をさせてもらいましたよ。
I was involved in my share of reckless activities.
勝手に吹き込んだ言い方してるんじゃないよ。
Don't just go talking like you've gotten so old.
私はまだ若いんだからね。
I'm still young, you know? Akane glared at Kasai, but he brushed it off like he was used to it. Despite not being in the mood to chat, Oishi couldn't help but feel amused.
まして組の重鎮たる葛西達義がどんな経緯でここへ墓参りに来てるんですか。
And a big name in the group like Tatsuyoshi Kasai is coming to visit his grave too.
憎むべき相手でしたが、それと同時に一目置ける男でした。
He was a man I resented, but at the same time he was a man I respected.
決着もつけずにこういう終わり方は敵同士であっても口惜しいものです。
Even among enemies, it's a shame for things to end unsettled like this.
なんだい、納得いかないのかい。
What? You don't get it?
終わった戦争さね。
The war is over now.
ラグビーだって終わったらノーサイド。敵味方なしなんだろ。
Even in a rugby game, once the game is over, no one is on opposing sides.
そういうことさ。
Nothing more than that. Akane said it as though it was a normal thing, but Oishi just couldn't understand. First of all, they hated each other. They hated each other, they spat at each other. How could they even feel like bringing flowers to his gravesite? However, Akane said that it was normal. Their moral standards weren't matching up.
私にはあんたの方が理解できないね。
Actually, you're the one I can't understand.
私の中ではダム戦争は終わったことになってんだけど、あんたの頭の中ではまだ続いてるってのかい？
I think the damn conflict has ended, yet in your head it's still going, isn't it?
まさか。
Oh no.
ちゃんと終わってますよ。
It's over for me.
あの創造しいスピーカーがまだ頭の中から鳴りやまないなんて冗談じゃないです。
I can't even imagine hearing all that noise anymore. You gotta be kidding me.
なら、園崎家が墓参りしてもおかしいことはないだろう？
Then what's wrong with the Sonozaki family visiting his gravesite?
ほら、どきなどきな。
Come on, move over.
私もお供えを持ってきたんだから。
I brought something for him too. Kane took out a small package from her bag and put it down in front of the grave.
その包み、毎年見かけてましたが、中身は何なんです？
I see that package every year. What's in it?
お両投資お手製のおはぎです。
This is ohagi, handmade by the family head, Oryu.
酒飲みは甘いのは苦手かもしれないと砂糖は抜いてあるそうですが、
She said drinkers usually don't like sweets, so she made them without sugar.
お両のばあさんがダム監督の命日のためにおはぎを握ったとおっしゃるんですか？
Are you saying that Oryu-san made ohagi for the site manager's anniversary?
毎年握って備えてるよ。
She does it every year.
あんた、毎年見てるって今言ったでしょうが。
You did just say that you see it every time you come here, didn't you? Oishi was stunned. Oryu was the biggest hardliner in the Onagafuchi Guardians, no question about that. Oishi had believed for a long time that she was the mastermind behind the old man's murder. Because of that, he just couldn't believe that she had been making ohagi every year for his anniversary.
そんな顔しなさんな。
Get with the times, old man. Hey, don't give me that look.
もうさ、そういうのはおしまいにしようじゃないかい。
Let's not do this anymore, okay?
そういうのとは何のことですかな？
Do what?
園崎家がダムの監督の墓前に花を供えちゃいけないとか、そういうのさ。
Pretend that the Sonozaki family shouldn't visit the site manager's grave.
もう昭和も60年になろってんだ。
It won't be long now until it's 1990.
下手すりゃ数年もしないうちに元号も変わるかもしれない。
By then, even the emperor might be dead.
そんな時代にまで、あんたは終わっちまった戦争をずるずる引きずりたいってのか？
How much longer are you planning to drag out this war, which has already ended?
ご冗談
Please.
を。もうあんな戦争はごめんです。
I don't even want to think about the damn conflict.
平和が一番ですよ。
There's nothing better than peace.
国にも悪いところがあった。
The government was at fault.
反省が必要だね。
They should think about what they've done.
でも、私たちにも悪いところがあっ
But we were at fault too.
た。だから、私たちは反省するよ。
That's why we have regrets.
そして、それはそれでおしまいになったなら、あとはいつまでもグダグダ言ってても仕方ないだろう。
And when things are done, that's it. There's no point dragging them out.
古い時代を片付けて、新しい時代を作るのが若者の仕事さね。
We need to wrap up the era of our forefathers, and young people need to create a new one.
不幸な事件があって、この御人は死んじまったけど、
What happened was very unfortunate, and I regret that the old man had to die.
もし生きてたなら、私は一緒に酒を飲んで、全部水に流したいと思ったさ。
If he was still alive, we could have shared a toast together and made up.
でも死んじまっ
But he's dead.
た。だから、この御人とはもう仲直りできない。
So we can't reconcile.
悲しいことさ。
I think that's very sad.
それが死別というもんですからね。
Well, that's what happened when someone dies.
でも、あんたは生きているじゃないかい。
But you're still alive.
そうですね。私は生きてます。
That's right, I am.
あんたらも生きてます。
And so are you.
ならあんたともいつか仲良くできる日も来るかもしれないね。
Then maybe a day will come when we can get along, huh? Nah.
さてどうでしょうね。
Well, I don't know about that.
葛西、こいつを住職さんに。
Kasai, take this to the priest.
その後は表に車を回してきておくれ。
And when you're done, pull the car out front, would you?
わかりました。
Understood. Akane took out an envelope from her pocket and gave it to Kasai. Kasai took the envelope, then quietly bowed to Oishi before taking his leave.
ダム戦争の時はいつか目に物見せてやると意気込んでいたものですが、
During the dam conflict, he was so determined to show what he could do.
妙なものです。
It's a strange thing.
ダム戦争から何年経ってると思ってんだ
How long do you think it's been since then?
いつまでも戦争状態じゃ心も体も持たないよ。
Your mind and body can't stay in a perpetual state of war.
それだけの時間が経ってるんだ。
That's how long it's been.
うちの子供たちも好きな相手ができて色づく年頃になってるんだから。
My own children have grown so much they're now at the age they've taken a liking to boys.
それだけの時間が経ったんですね。
Yeah, many years have passed.
時間は若者ほど濃密で、年寄りほど希薄になる。
Time is dense for young people, but diluted for old folks.
変わらないのは年寄りだけさ。
The old ones are the ones who don't change.
でも時代と若者は絶えず成長してる。
But young people keep growing.
そしてぼんやりしてる間に私たちを追い抜いていっちまうのさ。
And before we know it, they pass us by.
で私たちは隠居して若者を見守るのさ。ほつなもんだろ。
Then we simply withdraw ourselves and watch over them. See how it works?
おつなもんですな。
Yeah, I guess.
あの獅子骨の鬼姫、園崎や茜にいつの間にか説教されるようになったんですから。
Can't believe I'm getting a talking to from the demon princess of Shishibone, Kane Sonozaki.
嫌だね、そんな通りな。まだ覚えてるのかい？
Hey, I can't believe you still remember that name.
今じゃ獅子骨のレディーで通ってるんだよ。
I'm a lady of Shishibone nowadays, you know?
そいつは内緒にしてくれるとありがたいね。
I'd appreciate if you kept that name to yourself.
ダム戦争も終わったんですしね。
Yeah, I guess. Since the damn conflict is over now, huh?
そうさ。
That's right.
もう終わったことなのさ。
It's all over. Both were silent, but the air between them was comforting. There was no breeze, and a cabbage-white butterfly flittered around them.
勤務中だろうけどさ。
You're supposed to be at work.
どうだい一つ。ひんやり冷酒でも行かないかい？
But how about a round? Up for some fresh, cold sake? God, I would love to share some sake with Kane. Don't take that. Don't take that in any weird way. I'm just saying I would love to share a round of sake with Kane as a character.
今日は遠慮しま
She
しょ
would
う。
probably be fun to hang out with. Maybe not today.
私も車ですし、あなたも車じゃないんですか。
I have to drive, and so do you, right?
そりゃ残念だね。
That's too bad.
またの機会にしようかい。
Well, maybe next time, eh?
そうですな。
Yeah,
またの機会にしましょう。
next time. Something that had been sitting inside Oishi for a long time dissipated in a flash. Oishi was certain he felt something that had been frozen in place slowly melting away.
そろそろ戻ります。
I better get going.
あなたもお連れさんを待たしているでしょう。
Your ride is waiting too, right?
そうさね。お開きにしよう。
Yeah, he is.
あんたとはいろいろあった気がするけどさ。
We've gone through a lot,
これで一度パーッとチャラにしちゃいたいね。
but let's forget about it all. How about that?
そのあたりの生産会はまた後日に
お
改めてやりましょ
We'll have a party one of these days.
う。いずれきっと。
We will. Akane turned around with a big smile on her face. But all of a sudden, it changed into an impish grin.
それでね、大石の旦那。
Hey, Officer Oishi.
私たちのわだかまりがパーッとなくなったところでさ。
Since we made up just now,
昨日反則切符もらっちゃったんだけど、無茶苦茶してパーッと破り捨てちゃってさ。
I got a traffic ticket yesterday, and I was so mad that I ripped it in half.
これもパーッとなかったことにできないかね。
Do you think you could do something about that?
そいつ
He's
は
like,
最
"Fuck
寄りの
no."
警察署へどうぞ。
Just go to the nearest police station for that.
私に声をかけてくれじゃ順番待ちを優遇するくらいはしますよ。
Maybe I can give you a priority spot in the waiting line. No.
チェサービスの悪い人だよ。
What are friends even for, huh? Oh, ha ha ha. We're just laughing a lot between friends. Their laughter echoed under the blue sky. Although I'm pretty sure we saw that exchange exactly
なるほどね。
back in the main game. Here we go. Mion says, I see.
とりあえず事情はよくわかったよ。
Anyway, I think I have a good grasp of the situation. Mion slowly nodded her head after listening to me and Rika-chan provide our explanation. Then she approached me with a determined look on her face and stared at me with a smile.
あ、ケイちゃん。
Oh, Ki-chan.
あれ、
About that.
なんだ
What's up? Whoopsh. Pow.
いて
Ow! Ow. She suddenly pointed behind me and I turned to look and felt an impact on the back of my head. As soon as I turned back, Mion was glaring at me with her clenched fists shaking.
あのさ、ケイちゃん。
Listen, Ki-chan.
前にも言ったけど、私たちのことを思って内緒にしてたんだってわかってるよ。
I told you before. I know you were thinking of us when you kept this a secret.
でもね、そんなに私たちって頼りにならないのかな。
But, well, do you not think you can rely on us?
そんなことないぞ
That's not it.
ただ
But,
ただ、何？
but, what?
言っておくけど、私はケイちゃんが真剣に話す内容なら最後まで聞くし、絶対に茶化したりしない。
Listen, Ki-chan, if you're speaking to me seriously, I'll listen all the way until the end without teasing you.
そして助けを求められたら全力で応える覚悟はできている。
And if you ask for my help, I'm ready to respond with all my power.
今までだってそうしてきたつもりだよ。
That's what I've been trying to do all this time.
でももしケイちゃんが私のことをちょっとでも疑っていたのなら、私はこの場でケイちゃんの仲間から降りさせてもらう。
But Ki-chan, if you ever doubted me even a little, then I'm ready to walk away from our friendship right here.
どうなの？
So what is it? Mion's face gradually stiffened and started looking more and more angry as she spoke. I couldn't help but feel guilty seeing her like that.
悪かったミオン
I'm sorry, Mion.
それにみんな理由はどうあれ慎重になりすぎて相談が遅れたのは確かだよな
And everyone. Regardless of our reasons, it's true. We were being overly cautious and that made us take too long to discuss it with all of you.
すまない
Sorry.
そうじゃなくて、
How? That's not it.
みーちゃんが怒ってるのはリカちゃんほど信頼してもらえなかったからなんだよね。
Mi-chan is upset because you didn't trust her as much as Rika-chan. Isn't that it?
違うって。
No way.
私はその、いや、まあちょっとは、あるけど。
No, well, maybe a little. Yeah. Mion fidgeted and pouted her lips. When she saw that, Rina went cute and teased her, then quickly turned around and went back to being serious.
ケイチくん、
Kechi-kun,
迷惑をかけ合えるのが仲間だって言ってくれたよね。
you told me that friends can share their burdens with one another.
それはレナも同じ。
Rina feels the same way.
ケイチくんやリカちゃんに迷惑をかけられるのは全然嫌じゃないし、力になれって言ってくれた方がとっても嬉しい。
Kechi-kun, Rika-chan, you're not being a bother at all. I'm happy to hear that you want my help.
だってそれはレナを信頼してくれてるからなんだもの。
Because hearing that is proof that you trust Rina.
だからね、話す前から迷惑かもって気を使ってほしくない。
So don't hesitate to speak up just because you don't want to cause us trouble.
誰にでも言いたくない秘密はあるけど、遠慮されてると分かったら逆に辛い時もあるんだよ。
Sometimes you have secrets you don't want to tell anyone, but at the same time, it can be painful to recognize that someone is withholding something from you, right?
ごめんそうだよな
Sorry. You're right.
自分で言ってて世話がないよな。
Can't argue with my own words. I meekly bowed my head as I said that. Rika-chan stepped forward as to protect me.
みー、それにレナ、
Me and Rina.
僕が圭一に頼んだことなのです。
I'm the one who asked Kechi to keep it a secret from the two of you.
敵の動きと思惑がわからない間は変に敵外心を持たない方がいい。
At that point, I didn't know enough about our enemy's movements or intentions, so I thought it'd be best to avoid making people feel hostile.
そのせいで敵に不穏を気取られたりしたらかえって危険だと思ったからなのですよ。
Because doing so could incur our enemy's suspicion, heightening the danger of the situation.
分かってる。
I understand that.
でもこれはもう感情論の問題だからさ。
But this problem is how I feel in my heart, not my head.
まあそのことは後できっちり返してもらうということにしよう。
Anyway, we can get back to that later.
覚悟してよ、ケイちゃん。
Are you all prepared, Ki-chan?
そうだよ。
That's right.
わかった圭一くん。
You understand, don't you, Kechi-kun? Mio and Arena shrugged their shoulders, then softened their expressions and began to smile. Yeah, I'm really glad to have the two of them as friends.
だけどニーニーの件は明らかに理科の説明不足が原因だと思いますわ。
However, with regard to Nini's situation, I believe that Rika's lack of explanation is at fault.
もう少し手順がよろしければシオンさんもあんなに取り乱さなかったでしょうし、監督だって怪我をせずに済んだのでございますわよ。
If the situation were handled slightly better, perhaps Shion-san wouldn't have gotten so upset and the coach wouldn't have ended up getting hurt.
反省しているのです。
Me, I do feel bad about that. Rika-chan looked downcast and bowed once again to apologize to the coach, who was sitting in the back of the room, and to Shion, who was beside him, bandaging him. Fortunately, gunshot passed right through his shoulder without hitting the bone, and the coach was able to halt the bleeding with some simple sutures.
そんな謝らないでください。
Don't apologize for that.
元はといえば全て私の至らなさが発端なんですから。
In fact, all this began due to my own carelessness.
シオンさんとサトコちゃんにはどれだけ謝っても許されることではないと思っています。
Shion-san, Satoko-chan, no matter how much I apologize to you, it isn't enough.
それはもういいのですわ監督さん。
It's alright, coach.
ニーニーが生きていると分かっただけでも私は本当に嬉しいのでございますから。
I'm truly happy just knowing that Nini is still alive.
ね、シオンさん。
Right, Shion-san? But Shion kept quiet and looked down as she continued wrapping a bandage around the coach's shoulder. Her expression was dark, and even though Satoko addressed her so cheerfully, Satoko's expression clouded over what she noticed when she noticed that.
シオン、
Shion,
あのさ、シオン、
listen, Shion.
気持ちはすごくわかるけど、サトコもこう言ってるんだから。
I really do understand how you feel, but even Satoko's pushing for this.
今はこれからのことを話し合わなきゃ。ね。
Right now, we need to have a talk about what we're doing from here on, yeah?
しーちゃん。
Shi-chan,
そんなことくらい私にだってわかりますよ。
I understand that.
でもどうしても釈然としないことは頭では分かっていても心がついていきませんし。
But I'm still not satisfied. Even if I know that in my head, my heart just can't keep up.
しー、お願いなのです。
She, please,
力を貸してくださいなのですよ。
please lend me your strength.
だいたい皆さんはそれでいいかもしれませんけどね。私はそんなに大人じゃありませんから。
That may be enough for the rest of you, but I'm just not as mature.
せっかく
Damn.
せっかく
After all that effort, so much effort.
いい加減にしなよシオン。
That's enough, Shion.
監督の気持ちをもう少し考えてあげてもいいでしょ。
Would you try a little harder to think about how the coach must feel?
シオンさん。
Shion-san. Satoko. Sorry, I'm wiping a smudge off my glasses here. Satoko had tears in her eyes. Looking at that, Shion finally raised her head, turned to Satoko, then spoke up.
だから納得いかないって言ってるんです。
I told you, I can't accept this.
おいシオン。
Hey, Shion.
なんでサトコ、私の呼び方がシオンさんに戻ってるんです。
Why did Satoko go back to calling me Shion-san?
さっき私のことをねえねえと呼んでくれたじゃないですか。
Wasn't she calling me Nini earlier? Or Nene? Nene. Huh? Everyone was at a loss for words for a moment, unable to process what Shion had just said.
シオンさん
Shion-san?
ほらまた
There, you just did it again.
サトコひょっとして私のこともてあそりました？
Satoko, are you messing with me?
ねえねえって呼んでおいて浮かれさせて、その後私をじらしてつれなく突き放して。
You're gonna call me Nene and let me get excited only to push me away afterwards?
あれですか？幸せに一旦あげてから釣れない態度で気を引こうってあれですか？
That's what this is. Making me happy, then immediately acting cold to ensnare me?
もう見事に引っかかっちゃいましたよ私はね。
Well, it's working, let me tell you.
でもだからってこういう時くらいはもう少し優しさのひとかけらでもあった方がいいと思うんですよ。違いますか？そうでしょ？
But still, don't you think it'd be better to show a little bit of tenderness at times like these? Or times like this? Yeah, it's these. I'm not wrong, am I? Isn't that right?
それとも何ですか？人参アスパラ弁当を回避する今後の駆け引きにでもするつもりなんですか？
Or maybe you're planning to use it as a bargaining chip to get out of your carrot and asparagus lunches in the future. Is that it?
しーちゃん
Shi-chan?
ごめんそれ笑うところなのかな
Sorry, but is this an appropriate time for us to laugh? Is it?
むしろ怒っていい？
Or rather, shouldn't we get angry?
いや殴っていい？
Or ready to smack you?
この空気読めない娘が。
You can't read the air at all.
いやお前が言うな。
Oh, you're one to talk. Mion hit me with a powerful backhanded blow right after I cut in.
さとこ
Satoko?
なんでございますかリカ
Huh? What is it, Rika?
とりあえず呼んであげてくださいなのです
For now, would you mind just calling her that?
話が全然進まないのです
This conversation is going nowhere fast. Rika-chan was looking listless from shock, and she held a hand to her forehead as she tapped Satoko on the shoulder. Well, still better than the bloodbath it could have devolved into. Satoko turned red for a little while, and then heartily called her Nene, and Shion, who had been looking upset just a moment ago, was now donning an ecstatic, playful smile. Jeez.
とりあえず本題に戻ろう。
Anyway, let's get back to the main topic.
この中でまだ説明を聞き足りない人はいるか？
Is there anyone here who needs further explanation? I looked around at everyone as I said that. They were all wide-eyed and brusque looks on their faces. Although, I suppose that's a reasonable reaction. In fact, given how extraordinary this story is, it'd be perfectly natural for them if I shouted, "Just kidding!" right now. Of course, if I said it was all a joke at this point, every one of them would beat me until I was red as an octopus.
とりあえず本音を言えば、私も園崎家当主代行としてはいろいろと聞きたいことはあるよ。
To be perfectly honest, there are a number of things I'd like to ask as the acting head of the Sonozaki family.
これまでの事件の動機とか裏側の秘密をね。
About the causes of these past incidents, and the truth behind all these secrets.
でも今はそれはなしにする。
But I won't go into that for now.
とにかく最優先事項はリカちゃんの身の安全の確保だ。
Anyway, our top priority at the moment is ensuring Rika-chan's safety.
それに続いて敵の迎撃。
And the next priority is finding a way to intercept our enemy.
この2つに視点を絞って今後の対応を考えよう。
Been a while since I've read. I'm just stumbling over words here. Let's focus on what we should do moving forward to address those two objectives. Mion looked around at Rina and the others as she said that, then turned back to me and nodded. For now, it seems she believes Rika-chan and I are being sincere. I could tell from the look in her eyes, so it was encouraging to see.
しかし、うちに避難しようと考えるのはいい判断だね。
All in all, it's a good idea to go to my house.
うちの地下なら核戦争だってしのげるよ。
You can survive a nuclear war there, in our basement.
電気もある、電話もある。
There's electricity and a telephone there too.
もちろん食料だってあるしね。
Of course, there's plenty of food too.
山犬って連中がそんなにも厄介な相手なら、この村の中でリカちゃんをかくまえるのはうちしかありえないよ。
If the mountain dogs are really that tough, then my house is the only place in the village that's safe from them.
みんなを巻き込んでしまって申し訳ないと思いますです
I'm sorry to have involved all of you in this. Rika-chan apologized from the bottom of her heart. Up until now, Rika-chan had always kept this strange illness called Hinamizawa syndrome and her connections to this mysterious Tokyo organization a secret. That was because she was prepared to shoulder the burden alone, rather than getting us involved. That's why she was still wavering even when she confessed to me. And she had never succeeded against this enemy in the past, so that was all the more reason to feel uneasy. Still, took a good look at everyone to encourage them.
リカちゃん、もうそれは言いっこなしだぜ。
Rika-chan, it's alright.
ちょいとことがでかかったんで、正直、俺も一時は面食らっちまったが。
To be honest, I was feeling a little bit lost about the scale of all this.
なあみんな。
But hey, everyone.
どいつもこいつも内心は面白くなってきやがったとか思ってんだろ。
Deep down, don't you all think it's getting pretty interesting?
サトコ、どうもこいつは俺たちに本気でやってもいいってことみたいだぞ。
Satoko, this right here is the real deal.
お前、だいぶ温存してるんだろ。
You've got some good traps lying in wait, don't you?
シャレじゃ済まない秘蔵のトラップをだいぶ隠し持ってるんだろ。
I know you've been hiding amazing ones for special occasions.
そいつを食らわせてやる。またとないチャンスじゃねえか。
There's a perfect chance to try them out, don't you think? Oh, ho, 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 ho.
部活メンバーに私がいたことに感謝なさいませですわね。
You should be grateful for my presence.
相手が何様だか存じませんけど、本気でやっていいとなれば、たとえ部活メンバーが相手でも使用をためらってきた奇跡の大トラップの数々が惜しげもなく飛び出しますのよ。
I don't know who they are, but if it's alright to get serious, then I won't hesitate to launch the countless miraculous traps I refrained from using on our club members.
そうだね。
Haha, that's right.
さとこちゃんのトラップはみーちゃんのお墨付きだもんね。
Your traps come with Mi-chan's seal of approval.
たとえ相手が本物の軍隊でも、さとこちゃんのトラップはみんな蹴散らしちゃう。
They can chase away even a real army. We were applauding Satoko, but of course Rina wouldn't show them any mercy either. She is unusually so easygoing. No, she is usually so easygoing, but I know her true power. When she gets serious, she might be the most powerful of us all. That's Rina. When she gets going, if I had to take her on directly, I'd probably have no chance of winning.
そんなことないよ。
Oh, stop.
ケイチ君だってここ一番の時の爆発力と瞬発力はすごいよ。
Your explosive impact is incredible too, Kechi-kun.
私では打ち破れない運命を打ち破れる気がするもの。
Your power can defeat a fate that I have no chance against.
ケイちゃんが赤い燃え上がる炎なら、レナさんは青く静かに燃え上がる炎という感じですね。
If Ki-chan is a furious red flame, then Rina-san is a quiet blue one.
知ってますか？赤い炎よりも青い炎の方が温度が高いんですよね。
Blue flames actually burn hotter than red flames, you know. Hey, that's a good one. The burning red ranger, Kechi Maibara. The burning blue ranger, Rina Ryugu. So a chance to show the world what we've got. And in addition to that, our club members also have the greatest tag team duo. We're already powerful individually, and together, we're invincible.
まあ、私は部活メンバーに加わってそんなに間がありませんけどね。
Well, I haven't spent all that much time as a club member.
でもケイちゃん、いや、部長さん、
But Ki-chan, I mean, club leader.
あんたの期待は決して裏切らないと確信していますよ。
I promise to never betray your expectations.
天下の園崎姉妹にあだなそうと考える身の程知らずの大ボケ小ボケにゃ、一つでっかい教訓と反省をお持ち帰りしてもらいましょうか。
Let's teach those fools, big and small, a lesson about trying to defy the Sonozaki sisters. A lot of laughing here, but before a serious
い
moment.
やはや、不謹慎だと思って黙ってたけど、おじさんさ、本当はこう思ってたのさ。
You know, I kept quiet, thinking it might be imprudent, but actually, I've been thinking.
こいつは最高に面白くなってきたってね。
This is getting super interesting.
今は感謝してるよ、リカちゃん。
I appreciate this, Rika-chan.
これだけの獲物をよくぞ知らせてくれた。
Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
このひなみ沢で我が部に挨拶なしで上等を決めてくれようとはね。
How dare they even think of stepping into Namazawa without saying hello to us?
ちりけじめを取らせてもらうよ。
I'll make sure to teach them some manners. Everyone was eager to show their pace. Their paces and getting excited all at once. Our morale was already at its peak. We're up against such an absurd conspiracy, but if we're together, I think we can defeat it. This is the best feeling ever.
ありがとうみんな。
Thank you, everyone.
信じてくれて
Thank you
あ
for
りがとう。
thank you for believing in me. Rika-chan's eyes teared up, and she deeply bowed her head. We had finally managed to win her trust, and knowing that made me feel even more ready to fight.
さてそうとなりゃ作戦会議だ。
Okay then, let's settle.
まずリカちゃんは園崎家に身を隠すとしても移動する際には理由が必要だよね。
First off, even if we hide Rika-chan away in the Sonozaki house, we need some kind of explanation for the move.
これが実は一番ネックではあるんだけど、
This is actually our largest bottleneck. An explanation. Isn't it just a matter of transporting her and keeping her hidden?
いきなり移動したら敵だって何があったって勘ぐるよ。
If we move her suddenly, our enemy will be wondering what happened and start getting suspicious.
今まで秘密裏に運んできたのは敵の油断を誘うためなんでしょ。
You've been carrying things out in secret thus far to lower their guard, right?
そんなことしたら苦労が水の泡だよ。
So if that happens, all that trouble will be for nothing. As usual, Mion was calmly and rationally thinking forward. Since I tended to be more forceful, I was thankful to have her as a staff officer.
理由か。
An explanation, huh?
祭りの後体調を崩したから部屋で寝込んでるってのはどうだ？
How about we say she got sick after the festival, so she's resting at home?
それだと部屋に誰もいないことがすぐにバレてしまいます。
Meep. But they'll realize pretty quickly that there's nobody in my house.
あの部屋は山犬たちの監視下にあるのですよ。
That room is under constant surveillance from the mountain dogs.
なら私が部屋に戻りますわ。
Then I'll go back to the house.
それで理科の看病をしているってことにするのはいかがでございましょう。
Why don't we say that I'm staying there to take care of Rika?
それも却下だ。
That won't work either.
行き先を知っているということで今度は聡子が狙われる。
If Satoko knows our whereabouts, that'll make her a target.
聡子が目覚めたってことはここにいる連中しか知らないんだから聡子はまだ動かない方がいい。
So far, the people here are the only ones who know about what Satoko has woken up. Try that again. So far, the people here are the only ones who even know that Satoko has woken up, so we shouldn't move her yet.
あ、それなら監督に協力してもらってリカちゃんがここに入院しているってことにするのはどうだ？
Oh, then how about we get the coach's help to establish a cover story that Rika-chan was admitted here?
で、リカちゃんは園崎家に移動して隠れるとか。
Then, we can hide Rika-chan away at the Sonozaki house.
残念ですが、ここに入院してるのを確かめるのはたやすく、ごまかすのは難しいです。
Unfortunately, it's easy to verify if a person is being hospitalized here, and it's difficult to forge that.
それに、ここにいないと分かれば、真っ先に園崎家が疑われるでしょう。
If they find out she's not here, the Sonozaki house is the first place they'd suspect.
リスクが大きすぎます。
It's too risky.
いない人をいると見せかけるは難しいか。
It's difficult to make it look like a person's in a place where nobody is, huh?
いる人間をいないとするのは簡単そうですけどね。隠れる場所が多いし。
But it's simple to make it look like someone present isn't actually there. There are plenty of places to hide. Probably a cynical reference to Satoshi. The coach drooped his shoulders when he realized that.
あんまりいじめるなってシオン。
Don't be so harsh, Shion.
そして高野さん。いや、もう呼び捨てでもいいよな。
I'd be pissed if I was like Keshi or something and she's like making snide comments like that when it's like we're trying to focus and game plan and she's like, some Satoshi. Be like, Shion, shut up. Shut up. Don't be so harsh, Shion. And about Takano-san, wait. There's no reason for me to refer to it that way.
高野の背後にある黒幕を調べるために今赤坂さんが動いてくれている。
Kasuga-san is currently investigating Takano to find the mastermind pulling the strings.
この人が尻尾を掴んでくれたら敵の兵糧、
If he can grab that person by the tail, then the enemy's supplies will...
つまりは本部のバックアップが打ち切られて敵は行動を起こすことができなくなる。
Basically, the enemy won't be able to take action if we can cut off their support from headquarters.
そうなれば俺たちの勝ちだ。
And then we win.
でも大丈夫かな。
But is that really okay?
黒幕が分かっても実行するのは高野なんでしょ。
Even if we identify the mastermind, Takano's still the one carrying out the plan, right?
高野はその黒幕に自分たちの正当性を認めさせることで 緊急マニュアルに基づく非常行動を起こすことができるのです。
Takano can only take action according to the emergency manual as long as the mastermind authorizes her actions.
だから黒幕の陰謀を公に暴くことができれば、緊急マニュアルの実施は無意味かつ単なる蛮行となります。
So, if we can publicly expose the mastermind's conspiracy, the implementation of the emergency manual will be recognized as a barbaric act that simply can't be carried out.
それは高野が自分の理論を正当化させる目的を持っていることから考えても絶対に回避するはずなのですよ。
Considering that Takano's motive is to justify her theories, she'd want to avoid that at all costs.
でもよかったね。
How nice of him.
5年も昔にした約束を覚えてて助けに来てくれるなんて本当に素敵な人だね。
He came here because of the promise he made 5 years ago. That's kind of cool.
ちょっと羨ましいかも。
How? I'm a little jealous.
私の好みじゃありませんけど、リカにはちょっと嫉妬しましたよ。
He isn't my type, but I'm a little jealous too.
赤坂は別にそういうわけではないのです。
Me, it's not like that though.
しかも東京の警視庁の公安部の人で、それも秘密部門所属なんだろ？
He works for public safety at the police headquarters in Tokyo. And he belongs to a secret unit, right?
すげえ頼もしい人だよな。
That sure sounds reliable.
秘密部門ってのがしびれるぜ。
Being part of a secret unit makes it sound even better too.
ただ赤坂さんの役割はバックボーンの調査みたいだから、リカちゃんの防衛とは切り離して考えないと。
However, it seems that Akasaka-san's role in this operation is to investigate the enemy's backbone, so I'll have to set him aside when it comes to Rika-chan's defense.
それと重要なのは今行方不明になっている富武さんだよ。
And the more important matter is Tomitake-san, who is still unaccounted for.
いなくなったということは殺された可能性が低いと思う。
I think the possibility that he was killed is low.
もしも死んでいたら鉄平じゃなくて富武さんがたたりの犠牲として発見されていたはずだからね。
Because if Tomitake-san were dead, he would have been discovered as a victim of the curse instead of Teppei.
鉄平はどうして殺されたんだろう。
Why was Teppei killed?
多分黒幕たちに対してはひなみ沢症候群のアピールだよ。
The mastermind was probably trying to draw attention to Inamazawa syndrome.
こんな症状を起こして死人が出るってね。
It's like saying these symptoms results in death.
そして村人たちに対してはこれがたたりによるものだと思い込ませて、このひなみ沢から脱出しないように警告する。
And by making the villagers think it's due to the curse serves as a warning to keep them all from fleeing the village.
あと恐怖と不安は先導する側にとって便利な心理だからね。
Plus, fear and unrest make it far easier for the instigators to psychologically exploit people.
リカちゃんを生贄に捧げた後に村人たちの集団行動を律する意味合いもあるんじゃないかな。
Maybe there's a need to manipulate the behavior of the villagers after offering Rika-chan as a sacrifice.
いわゆる封じ込めだな。
What they call containment?
高野の偽装死体が目立つ形で発見されたのも、姿を消す以外にそういう目的があるってわけか。
Why else would Takano's fake corpse be so readily found? It's not only because she wants to disappear, it's just another purpose like that.
話を戻すよ。
Back to the original topic.
富武さんがもし生きていたら、彼の手に入れた情報の有無が対局を決めると言っても言い過ぎじゃない。
If Tomitake-san is still alive, any information he might have obtained could have a huge impact on putting together the big picture.
しかもどうやら敵を鎮圧できる番犬部隊を呼ぶことができるのは富武さんだけのようだし。
And what's more, Tomitake-san is the only one who can call in the bloodhounds who can suppress the enemy.
つまり富武さんの安否が戦局を分けることになるね。
In other words, Tomitake-san's safety is the line that divides the battlefield.
下手くそカメラマンの富武のおじさまが私たちの命運を握っている超重要人物とは不思議な感じ。
It's a bit unsettling to think that so much is riding in the hands of some dumb cameraman.
とはいえ悲観的になりすぎるのもどうかと思いますが、富武のおじさまの力を頼りにできない可能性もあります。
Still, I don't mean to be overly pessimistic, but I don't think we should rely on old man Tomitake's support.
万が一に備え他の手も考えておいた方がいいと思います。
In an abundance of caution, I think it would be best to have other options at hand.
でも他に何か撃てる手はありますでしょうか。
But do we have any other weapon at our disposal?
頼りにできるのはあとは大石ぐらいか。
The only person we rely on might be Oishi.
どううまく説明するかだね。
But how would we explain this to him?
それについては昨べここに来た時に大石には説明しましたのです。
Incidentally, I explained the situation to Oishi when he came here last night.
赤坂もフォローしてくれましたが、まだ迷っているみたいなのです。
Even though Akasuka helped me explain, Oishi still seemed conflicted. It's only natural. Oishi was suddenly informed of a truth that completely contradicted his long-standing beliefs. It'll take time to make sense of it.
あと富武さんは内部に疑いを持って内定していたはずだから、どこかに痕跡の一つは残していたかもしれない。
Also, Tomitaka-san was doing undercover work from the inside, so maybe he left traces of that hidden somewhere.
自分にもしものことがあった時のためにね。
Just in case something were to happen, if you will.
期待しすぎると良くないけど、調べてみる価値はあると思うよ。
It's best not to expect much on that end, but I do think it's worth investigating.
そうですわよ。
That's right.
もし情報活動で優秀な方だとしたら、自分に何かあった時のための緊急連絡手段は必ず用意しているものですわ。
Any experienced intelligence agent would prepare an emergency contact scheme in the event of unforeseen circumstances.
富武さんの宿泊先に何か手がかりは残されていないでしょうか。
Perhaps Tomitaka-san left some clues behind at his hotel?
でも敵がもし富武さんを疑うとしたら、
But if our enemy was suspicious of Tomitake-san,
一番に捜索するのはそこじゃないかな。
wouldn't that be the first place they'd search?
富武さんもそれが分かっていたはずだし、そんなところに重要な情報を残したりはしないと思う。
Tomitaka-san must have realized that, so I don't think he would leave any important information there.
とりあえず富武に頼らない別の方法も考えてみるのです。
For now, let's try to think of a strategy that doesn't depend on Tomitake.
いりえ、他に何か方法はありますでしょうか。
Irie, can you think of any other way? Then we all turned our eyes toward the coach, who had been silent all this time. However, he just shook his head apologetically.
すみません。東京とのつなぎはすべて富武さんと高野さんにお任せしていたので、私にはいい手段が。
I'm sorry. I left all contact with Tokyo in the hands of Tomitake-san and Takano-san, so there's little I can do there.
それに今日は確かにこの診療所も無人ですが、ほとんどの職員が高野さんのバッカにあると考えた方がいい。
Also, while it's true that all the clinic staff are out today, it's best to think that most of them are loyal to Takano-san.
私があなた方にご協力できることは情けない限りですが、あまりないんです。
I intend to do everything in my power to help you, but I'm ashamed to admit that doesn't amount to much. He looked terribly downhearted after confessing that. But I was thankful to have anyone from the enemy camp on my side, and this man will go through the hardest time even if everything ends well. This isn't the same to be asking the impossible of him.
となると、やっぱり赤坂さんの動きが重要になってくるってわけか。
In that case, it seems that Akasuka-san's contributions are critical.
それまではひたすら敵から逃げる手段を考える。
Until then, we'll have to do as much as we can to evade our enemies.
消極的なやり方だね。
Talk about passive.
それに赤坂さんが頼りってのは心強いけど危険でもあるな。
Also, it's reassuring to rely on Akasuka-san, but it's also dangerous.
いつまでって期限が明確じゃないからさ。
It's still not clear how far out the deadline is.
また別の角度の攻撃を考えないと。
We'll have to think of another angle of attack.
赤坂さんの調査に貢献できるような攻撃ってねえか。
Is there any sort of attack that would support Akasuka-san with his investigation?
面白いですわね。
Oh, how interesting!
何かのトラップを仕掛けて尻尾をつかみ、黒幕に言い逃れできない証拠を突きつける。
We'll launch some kind of trap, grab them by the tail, and thrust proof that they can't talk their way out of in their faces.
最高のトラップシチュエーションでしたよ。
My, what a perfect trap situation.
奴らの狙いが僕なら、
I'm the one they want.
僕を何
If
か
I'm the
の
one
お
they
とり
want.
にするのはどうですか。
Why don't you use me as a decoy?
危険だけど、高野たちは僕が目的なんだから食いつかざるを得ないのです。
It's dangerous, but Takano and the others need me, so they'll definitely fall for it.
かなり危険な一手だね。
That really is dangerous.
でも確かに高野がリカちゃんを追っているという大きな証拠をつかめる手だよ。
But that would prove Takano-san is after Rika-chan.
わざと姿を見せて騒ぎを大きくして逃走戦にすれば
Have them see her and make them chase her.
少しは面白い効果が期待できそうだね。
That could lead to something interesting.
そこで聡子の裏山が役に立つ。
And that's where Satoko's Hills come in.
あそこに逃げ込めば追っ手は大変なことになるでしょうね。
Well, if we were to flee through there, it certainly would give our pursuers a hard time. Satoko's beaming grin was one thing we could rely on at a time like this. That'll be a sight to see. It's going to be great.
でもやっぱりそれは最後の一手だと思うかな。
That should be the final method we use, though.
裏山にこもれば籠城戦になって状況はだいぶ変わる。
Once we're barricaded in the hills, the situation will change quite a bit.
この手に訴えるのは本当に最後の最後だと思う。
This should be our last resort.
そうですわね。
She's right.
裏山のトラップは防御効果が非常に高いでしょうけども、あくまで防御ですわ。
The traps in the hills are great as a defense measure, but that's all they can do.
敵に対し攻撃するものとは違いますもの。
They can't attack the enemy for us.
裏山籠城は追い詰められた最後の切り札になるだろうね。
Barricade on the hill is our last resort, huh?
これは本当に最後の手段。
The very final resort.
うちに籠城していても敵に襲われ、拠点として捨てざるを得ない時だけのね。
For when the enemy attacks us, barricade in my house. Then we have no choice but to leave.
ちなみにうちの地下には隠しトンネルがあって、山中の井戸に抜けられるようになってるんだよ。
By the way, we have an underground tunnel leading out that's connected to a well in the back. Awesome. It's getting more and more interesting. The enemy is a mysterious organization. We have a secret operation, a secret base, and a secret underground tunnel. It's just the sort of thing that gets a guy excited. Nothing like a good secret tunnel. Shion's ha ha ha.
男でなくても燃えてきますよ。
I'm not a guy, but I'm excited.
とりあえず方向性は固まってきましたね。
Anyway, seems our plans are starting to get more firm.
せっかくだからもっと有効な具体案はありませんか？
We're putting in so much effort, so could there be a more effective plan? I gave a big nod in response to Shion's question. I wanted another idea. All of our plans up until this point were rather defensive. We need something more aggressive that's perfect for our club. Some way to hit them real good, and an awesome blow that'll set back their conspiracy.
僕たちにそんな方法があるのでしょうか。
Can we pull off something like that?
きっとあるよ。
Yeah, I'm sure they can.
私たちはリカちゃんが思ってるほど無力じゃないし、切り札だってないわけじゃない。
We're not as powerless as you think, Rika-chan, and it's not like we don't have cards to play.
彼らにとって重要なリカちゃんというキーマンが私たちと共にいる。
You're their ultimate objective, and you're with us.
これが重要な切り札になるんだから。
That's one crucial card on our side.
リカちゃんをおとりにするっていう意味じゃなくてね。
And not just in the sense of using you as a bait.
確かに
That's true.
女王感染者が私たちのところにいるのは彼らに対して大きなアドバンテージになるね。
It's a huge disadvantage for them that we have the Queen Carrier.
連中の目的は何？
I mean, what's our goal?
リカちゃんを殺して緊急マニュアルとやらを発動させ、この村を丸ごと抹殺してそれを組織内の派閥争いに利用すること。
Kill Rika-chan, trigger this emergency manual to eliminate the whole village, and use that chaos in their internal faction wars.
そうだね。
Right?
そうですね。
Yeah.
リカちゃまは奴らにとって全てを吹き飛ばす爆弾みたいなもの。
To them, Rika-chan is like the fuse on a stick of dynamite.
そうか。
I get it.
それを爆発させて大騒ぎを起こし、それに乗じて何かを得するのが奴らの狙い。
They want to set that dynamite off, cause chaos, and use that to gain something for themselves.
それを爆発させないのが私たちの勝ちということになると、
So if we keep it from exploding, we win.
それはあまりいい状況ではありませんわね。
That's gonna be pretty tough.
確かに。
You're right.
こちらはいつまでもずーっと守り続けなくちゃならないけど、向こうはなりふり構わずリカちゃんを殺せば勝ちになる。
We have to continue defending her, but all they have to do is kill Rika-chan in any way.
まるで片方にしかゴールがないサッカーだよ。
It's like a soccer game with a goal on only one side.
しかも攻撃意図とパターンが読めないうちは、高野たちの攻撃を退けても再戦があるかもしれない。
And what's more, unless we can get a read on their attack patterns beforehand, even if we manage to repel an attack, it could leave us open for a follow-up.
防衛だけならまだしも第2波第3波と攻められたらやっぱり弱いよ。
It'll be easy if all we have to do is defend ourselves, but it'll be hard to fight off a second or third wave. Mion crossed her arms like she was thinking, but the next moment...
あなたなら
It'll be
大丈
alright.
夫。
As long as you're
だ
there.
から導いてあげてください。
So, lead on.
リカのことを守れる方
You
法
should be able to find a way to
あな
protect
たなら
Rika.
わかるはず。
Rika.
そっか、
I see.
そういうことか。
That's it.
シオン、どうしたの？
Shion, is something wrong?
いえ、別に。
No, not really.
みんな聞いてください。
Everyone, please listen.
策なら一つ
I have a
い
good
い
idea.
のがありますよ。
I have a good idea. After a little bit of thinking, Shion raised her head and said that.
監督、
Coach,
今から警察に電話してください。
call the police right away.
銃を持って診療所に押し入った凶悪犯がいるって。
Tell them some thug just broke into the clinic armed with a gun.
シオン？
Shion?
ちょっと待って、それって。
Oh, hold on, you mean... Mion was surprised and quickly interrupted, but Shion remained completely calm.
リカちゃま、ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry, Rika-chama.
死んでくれますか？
Would you mind dying? What a phrase. 10 minutes after receiving a 911 call from the Erie clinic, 2 police cars pulled up to the entrance of the clinic, and the policemen inside jumped out at once like it was a dance. Then, Oishi came following behind them.
No.
What? Oishi's face warped and his eyebrows stood up in shock. Surrounded by police officers who had just entered, Mion and I were holding Shion down on the floor of the waiting room as she rampaged with a bloodthirsty look in her eyes.
しょー
Damn it!
離せ離せ
Get off me! Get off me!
殺してやるみんなぶっ殺してやるんだ
I'll kill you! I'll kill you all!
こら
Hey!
お前本当にどうしちまったんだ
Seriously, what happened to you?
このいい加減にしなよシオン
Come on, that's enough, Shion!
どこまで園崎を疑えば気が済むのさ
When are you gonna stop doubting the Sonozaki family? Some excellent acting, I think, going on here. Mion and I both had cuts on our arms and faces as we struggled to hold Shion down. When some of the police officers who were watching us rushed over to help, Shion fought even harder to escape our grip. But Shion finally succumbed to the additional force supplied by the adults and looked completely exhausted as she was limply pinned down to the ground, pinned down on the floor.
園崎シオン、傷害と公務執行妨害の現行犯で逮捕する。
Shion Sonozaki, we've caught you red-handed. You're under arrest for physical assault and obstruction of government duties.
離せこら
Let me go!
私が犯罪者ならあいつらだって犯罪者だ
If I'm a criminal, then they're all criminals.
ここの所長はサトシ君をサトシ君を
The director here had Satsuki-kun. Satsuki-kun!
あいつらこそ地獄に行けばいいんだ
They can all go to hell! Scream. And even as the handcuffs were clamped on her, Shion continued screaming and cursing at the coach, who was standing in the back of the room. Oishi-san looked stunned as he watched the situation unfold, but then he came to his senses and looked directly at me as I lay on the floor and put a hand on my shoulder.
前原さん、
Maibara-san,
これは一体何があったんですか？
what on earth happened here?
見ての通りです
It's exactly what it looks like.
俺たちが里子の見舞いに来た時にはシオンが改造モデルガンを監督に向かって撃って殺そうとして
When we came to visit Satoko, Shion was trying to shoot and kill the coach using a modified model gun.
サトシ君の敵だあんたも一緒に地獄に連れて行ってやるって
She said I'll send you to hell too for what you've done to Satsuki-kun.
もう私もあの子が何言ってるのか全然わからなくて
But I have no idea what she's talking about. Mion's voice clogged up as she said that. Then she buried her face in my chest while sobbing. Oishi-san was still stunned by the situation, but his eyes opened wide when he took a look around and noticed that a person who should have been there was strangely absent.
園崎さん、
Sonozaki-san.
今園崎シオンがあんた持って行ったって言いましたよね。
Just now, Shion Sonozaki said send you to hell too, didn't she?
まさか他にも。
No way. Then there was someone else?
はい
Yes.
私はリカちゃまを拉致した。あんたが白状しなければそっちに聞けばいいって。
She said, I've kidnapped Rika-chama. If you don't confess, I'll hear it from her.
なんてことだ。
Good lord.
クマちゃん、
Kuma-chan,
フルデ家の確認。
check the Frude household.
それとフルデリカの捜索と目撃情報の収集を。
Search Rika Frude and gather any eyewitness information.
了解っす。
Roger. The detective named Kumagai-san and several other officers dashed outside following Oishi-san's order. Before long, I heard a car starting up and a siren ringing out.
大石さん
Oishi-san. Forensic staff were running around the clinic performing on-site investigation without even looking at them. Oishi remorsefully collapsed his knees to the floor as he quietly muttered something.
いや
Oh my.
実は夕べ外でタバコをふかして診療所に戻った時に人のような気配を感じたんですよ。
The truth is, when I came back to the clinic last night after smoking a cigarette, I thought I sensed someone out there.
動きも俊敏だったので猫かなとは思ったりしたんですが、
But I assumed it was a cat because it was moving so swiftly.
まさか園崎シオンだったとはね。
To think that was actually Shion Sonozaki.
気持ちがぐちゃぐちゃだったとはいえ、こんなミスしてたんじゃ刑事失格ですな。
Even if my feelings were in disarray, if I'm making mistakes like that, I'm really not fit to be a detective.
決断遅かったですかね。
Guess I was too slow in making my decision.
これじゃあ昨日の話への返事もできなくなったってことですか。
Does this mean I can no longer respond to yesterday's discussion?
後悔先に立たずた言いますが、
It's just as I say, there's no use crying over spilled milk.
これで私はたたりの謎に迫る機会を永遠に失ったってことなんですかね。
Does this mean I've forever lost the opportunity to pursue the mysteries of the curse?
まだ終わってません。
It's not over yet. Oishi-san looked up when he heard Mion's soft but sharp and powerful voice. Then we casually looked at our surroundings before pretending to collapse into tears while approaching him, and we quietly whispered what we needed to say into his ear.
なんとあんたたちは。
What's going on, you guys?
あとはシオンを尋問して確認してください。
After this, please speak with Shion during her interrogation.
そこから先は大石さんの判断にお任せします。
I leave everything beyond that to your judgment, Oishi-san.
やばいと思ったらこの話は忘れてくださって結構です。
If you think it's too dangerous, you can forget you heard any of this.
勝負に出たってわけですか。
You're saying this is part of the game?
いや、わかりました。
Okay, understood.
それではこれ以上のことをお聞きするのも心苦しいですから、またいずれ聞き込みに伺います。
I realize it's painful to pry any further, so we'll speak again later. Oishi-san got up and began walking away as though nothing had happened at all, and on the way out, he gave a faint nod before disappearing beyond the door.
ケイちゃん、
Kei-chan,
心配するな。
don't worry.
それにしても
Anyway,
何？
what is it?
お前泣き真似うまいな。
You are really good at fake crying.
あてで
Ow! Right beside me, Shion's head drooped beneath the jacket that was draped over her. Both her hands were cuffed, and her gentle demeanor made her earlier rampage look like a lie. Still, would these kids go this far? Even though they were such trusting friends, would they make such a risky gamble?
言っておきますが、改造モデルガンとはいえ、銃刀法の適用内ですからね。
Let me just say, even though it's a modified model gun, it still falls within the scope of the Firearms and Swords Control Act.
それに傷害は現行犯ですから、悪くすりゃ少年法でも実刑になりますよ。
And since you were caught in the act, under juvenile law, you could even end up going to prison if you make things worse. Shion remained silent. No, could hear a slightly heavy breath as she turned away. Is that a smile on her face?
なるほどね。
I see. So she's even prepared for that. That's impressive. She really is a member of the Sonozaki family.
とりあえずゆっくりと尋問させてもらいますから。
For the time being, we're gonna have a long interrogation.
話聞かせてもらいましょう。
Let me hear what you have to say. Night had just arrived. You could see the day and night shift personnel switching like... You could see the day and night shift personnel switching like clockwork. Okinogi Gardeners had transformed into a forward base that completely defied its surface level appearance. Nonetheless, nothing had been happening so far. There were people playing with Hanafuda cards at the reception desk, and the room had a relaxed atmosphere. Since this is a base, so naturally dozing off on the job isn't allowed. This is a base. No, so... I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble reading. I'm having trouble reading. I'm having trouble speaking. Apparently. I'm so sorry. This is a base, so naturally dozing off on the job isn't allowed, but that doesn't mean it's necessary to stay tense the whole time. Thanks to that, many people were biding their time by watching TV or playing cards when they weren't actively working a mission. Suddenly, the phone rang. The phone was right nearby, so one of them answered immediately. Thank you for calling. This is Okinogi Gardeners. Yes? What? Suddenly, the man taking the call stood up with a jolt. He even hit his knee against the desk, but he was too panicked to care. Takano dashed into the underground security room in a hurry. Sorry to call you in, Major. Give me an update. Are you sure about this? Yes.
午後6時15分、沖宮署の取調べ室で園崎紫音が R の監禁をほのめかす供述を始めたそうです。
It seems that at 6:15 p.m., during interrogation at Okinomiya Station, Shion Sonozaki began suggesting R was being held under confinement.
そんなわけないでしょ。
How could that be?
R の監視はどうしてたの？
What about all of our surveillance?
確か渡流しの晩は入江診療所に宿泊しているって報告を受けていたはずよ。
I'm certain the report said she was staying at the Irie Clinic on the night of Watanagashi.
そのささ
Ah, Major.
話に続きがありまして、沖宮署の諜報員によると、
There's more. According to an intelligence agent in Okinomiya PD,
本日の午前7時頃に R は投稿すると言って診療所を出たそうです。
R left the clinic around 7 a.m. today, allegedly heading to school.
そこから行方がわからなくなっているとのことで。
And she disappeared immediately after that. Takano was struck with a sensation like her whole body had frozen over. I like this music. The assassination of Rika Furude had already been determined. The corpse was to be discovered at the Furude Shrine the day after tomorrow, and at that point they'd have to follow the emergency manual. But that all began with killing Rika. Without that, carrying out the emergency manual in the ritual Tokyo HQ wanted would be more difficult. No, completely impossible.
すぐに R の行方を探しなさい。
Begin searching for R immediately.
園崎紫音の供述内容をこちらに逐一報告。
Report to me every single detail of Shion Sonozaki's testimony.
警察より先に我々で身元の確保をしろ。
Take R into custody before even the police can.
一番疑わしいのは園崎家だ。
Focus your attention on the Sonozaki residence.
屋敷への調査部隊の編成を早急に行え。
Send a team to monitor the premises ASAP.
しかし、諜報員によると、どうやら園崎美音とは完全に対立状態でして。
However, according to our intel, it seems she has a strained relationship with Mion Sonozaki.
園崎本家の隠匿はほぼ確実にないそうです。
So it seems highly unlikely she'd be able to confine someone at the Sonozaki residence.
実際、警察の職員の立ち入りを許して捜査に当たったそうですが、
In fact, I hear the Sonozaki's even allowed the police inside to investigate.
例の秘密部屋も含めて R の所在は確認できなかったと。
And they were unable to locate R or identify any sort of secret room. Takano felt they had totally screwed up. She was completely overwhelmed with regret for overreaching. Takano's original intent was to make Shion suspicious of the Sonozaki family, and thereby spread confusion to the police and other people around her. The more that Shion moved around, the more the police and the villagers diverted their attention toward her, thus making their own activities easier. That was the purpose behind her clowning around. But Takano never thought it would lead to Rika Furude getting caught in the crossfire. Had she underestimated Shion Sonozaki's ability to take action? No, that was exactly why she wanted to use her as a decoy, but it completely backfired.
じゃあ R は一体どこに監禁されてるってのよ。
Then where the hell is R being held?
園崎シオンが R を隠匿できる場所はこの村でも限られてるはずでしょうが。
There can't be more than a handful of places where Shion Sonozaki could hide her.
サンサ、あるいはという過程をお許し願えるなら申し上げます。
Major, forgive me for being presumptuous, but
フルでリカはすでに殺害されているのではないでしょうか。
you realize there's also a chance that Rika Furude has already been killed?
殺害？
Killed?
死体も見つかっていないのに殺害だと？
We haven't even found a corpse and you're already declaring it murder?
冗談じゃない。そんな不確定な状態でこの緊急マニュアルが発動させられるわけがないでしょ。
Be serious. There's no way you can activate the emergency manual in such an uncertain situation.
フルでリカの死亡を確認した上でなければ私たちのこれから起こす村全域の封鎖作戦は何の正当性も根拠も失ってただの大量殺戮とされるだけなのよ。
Unless we have confirmation of Rika Furude's death, our village-wide blockade operation will be nothing more than a baseless mass slaughter. Takano wasn't confused because she was still half asleep. No, Takano was afraid. Losing the Queen Carrier didn't mean simply delaying their plans. A core tenet of her and her grandfather's research into Yamazawa syndrome would completely fall apart if they confirmed the subject had been dead for over 48 hours. If that were to happen, supporters in Tokyo who she depended on for funding and management would stir up trouble, and all of her plans would amount to nothing. Nevertheless, what would happen if they forcibly carried out the operation anyway? Nothing meaningful. It would be a major incident, but it wouldn't contribute at all to protecting the work that her grandfather believed in. Basically, the ritual cannot begin without Rika Furude's sacrifice. And without that, everything her grandfather researched would be no more than a story buried in darkness. Excuse me, Major. Also, this is a side tangent note, and I didn't bring this up back when we saw this in the original, story arc. But, like, the plan of, like, hiding Rika and confusing the opposition into maybe thinking that she was dead for over 48 hours to try to fulfill their plans and everything. Like, this whole thing is, like, the closest, like... I hope this makes sense when I say this, but is the closest to, like, an Umineko type mystery, like, back and forth between different opposing sides, like, situation, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't make sense. I mean, I'm struggling to speak and read tonight, so I'm probably, my brain is also probably having trouble thinking. But I've always thought how, like, it's like the closest thing to, like, an Umineko, like, mystery, like I said, like a back and forth, like, mystery being flung between, like, I think Beatrice and, Battler and stuff like that, so, I don't know. Just a thought. Just a thought on this random Tuesday night. Excuse me, Major. There's a phone call from Nomura-sama in Tokyo. Why is that woman calling me now?
私が電話をしている間に大至急沖宮署に勾留されている園崎紫音への尋問を強化させろ。
While I'm on the phone, intensify the interrogation of Shion Sonozaki in Okinomiya Station ASAP.
どんな手段でもいい。
Find out where R is located.
その所在を早急に聞き出せ。
Find out where R is located and she's still alive. At any cost, immediately.
すでに進めています。
Already on it.
県警本部の人間も繰り出して、何としてでも口を割らせると連絡を受けております。
People at Prefectural HQ have already been contacted in order to share anything they find.
それ以外にも、総員で村全域の捜索にあたり、行方を探し出してみせるつもりです。
And in addition to that, all available staff members are searching the village, trying to determine her whereabouts.
つもりじゃない。
Don't just try.
絶対だ。
Do it.
大至急よ。
It needs to be done as soon as possible.
急がせなさい。
Tell them to hurry up.
おはようございます。高野です。
Good morning, Takano here. I love that switch. All unit members were gathered in the office for Okinogi Gardeners, which served as garrison for the mountain dogs in Okinomiya.
ああ、わかった。
I see.
沖宮署の方が分かり次第、俺とサンサに連絡しろ。
As soon as you find out something from the police, call both me and the major.
それより、 R の監視体制だが R の確認をなぜ怠った？
By the way, how did our surveillance team screw this up?
入江所長から診療所への宿泊を聞いておりましたので
Director Irie reported she was staying at the clinic.
朝7時に診療所を出たと聞かされた時はそのまま学校に向かうものと考えて昼過ぎの帰宅を待つ予定でした
He said she left at 7 a.m., so we assumed she was going straight to school and expected her to come back after lunch.
作戦前に手抜きやがって
Slacking off right before the mission?
それで園崎本家には R の所在は本当に確認されなかったんだな
So, did you at least confirm if R is at the Sonozaki main house?
はい
Yes.
それは間違いなく
We're positive of that.
隊長、まだお疑いなら今すぐ園崎本家に突入しては
Commander, if you have any doubts, why don't we raid the Sonozaki house immediately?
現状なら強攻策でも後でいくらでも理由がつけられます
Even if it's an overly aggressive move, we can always come up with a justification later.
そいつは三佐の許可がなけりゃできん
We can't do that without approval from the Major.
三佐も沖宮署の件が判明するまで突入許可は出すまい
I'm sure she won't let us until she confirms the matter at the Okinoya PD.
突入命令に備えて園崎本家への監視を増員
In preparation for that order, increase the number of observers at the Sonozaki estate.
それと村の捜索に全力を傾けろ
And do everything you can to search the village.
隊長、ひょっとして R を村の外に拉致した可能性はないでしょうか
Commander, is there any possibility that R is being held outside the village?
園崎家以外となるとそれに適した場所が思い当たりません
Aside from the Sonozaki household, I can't think of any other suitable location.
思考を硬直化させるな
Keep your thoughts more flexible.
もっと他の可能性も探り出せ
Explore the other possibilities.
そもそも真っ昼間に小娘一人が誰にも見つからずに村外に R を連れ出せるわけがないだろう
Besides, how could someone take R out of the village in the middle of the day without anyone noticing? Okinogi's rusty yet wild instincts were sounding an alarm. What if Shion Sonozaki had other reasons for abducting Rika Furude? He was strangely troubled because they had planned to make the first move, yet they were now reacting to someone else's first move.
そういや警視庁の公安がうろちょろしていたそうだな
That reminds me, that MPD public security guy is apparently still hanging around.
沖宮の宿泊地に所在は確認しているか
Can we identify where he's staying in Okinomiya?
おそらく
Most likely.
確認させます
I'll double check.
あと富武2位の所在はどうなってる
And how about the search for First Lieutenant Tomotake?
まだ行方は見つからないのか
We still haven't found him yet?
まだです
Not yet.
沼周辺をくまなく捜査しましたが浮かび上がった気配も沈んだ様子も見当たりません
We searched the entire area around the swamp, but there are no signs of anything rising up, and can't locate anything that may have sunk it down.
いやちょっと待て
Wait, hold on.
今三佐に電話があったんだよな
The Major got a phone call just now, right?
東京から
From Tokyo?
それが何か
What about it?
警視庁の公安がこっちに張り出してるってことは
MPD Public Security's been dispatched here, meaning...
しまったやられた
Shit, we've been had!
さてもう後戻りはできんぞい
Well, we can't turn back now.
さてこれで大山明堂して何が出るっすかね
Let's see what happens next. Kumagai was trembling with excitement.
園崎シオンの様子は
How is she on Sonozaki?
落ち着いてます
She's calmed down.
というか思いっきり力抜いてますね
Or perhaps I should say she's completely drained of strength.
さすが昔拘置所に放り込まれたことがあるっていうだけあって余裕かましていびきかいて寝てますよ
She said she was thrown in jail in the past, so she was able to sleep comfortably.
さすがは鬼娘ゴータンぶりは母親譲りってやつですか
I'd expect no less from the demon girl. She must have inherited that audacious bravado from her mother. While he was surprised, at the same time, he was impressed. No matter how much experience you may have had, nobody wants to be stuck in police custody. And yet, sacrificing yourself just to ensure your friend's safety?
クマちゃん
Kuma-chan,
私は通信センターの方へ様子を見てきます
I'm going to check the communications center.
ここは絶対に死守してください
Hold down the fort.
なっせ
You bet.
死んでも誰も通さないです。
Nobody will get through here. Over my dead body.
後の足の役目は北条哲平の司法解剖じゃな。
All I have to do now is take care of Tepe Ojo's official autopsy.
メンツは全部足の子飼いで固めたから、ミクロンのごまかしも見逃さん。
All the corners I called here on my side, so I won't even allow the tiniest bit of deception to slip by.
熊谷、ここは頼むぞ。
Kumagai, take care of this place, okay?
任してください。
You can count on me. Kumagai gave a big grin and thumbs up, then entered the interrogation room and closed the door. 48 hours in detention. Whether it was a coincidence or inevitable, that was the time limit of the battle entrusted to them. Then, Oishi entered the floor of the communication center. All radio communications and phone calls pass through there first. During business hours, each section answers its own phone calls, but when they aren't open, the communication center answers them instead.
どうですかこちらは。
How's it going here?
はい。
Well,
ついさっき外線経由が刑事課の直通番号に1本。
there was an outside call for forensics calling directly just a few minutes ago.
相手は
Who called?
県警本部大高警部です。
It was Chief Inspector Otaka.
おお、大高君か。
Oh, Otaka-kun.
へ
Hey.
え。
Oishi grinned. The enemy had started to move. They must have bribed someone inside the police department to be their spy, and he had started to move just as they planned. Oishi was surprised to learn that it had been Otaka. Oishi had never liked Otaka, because he constantly boasted about his academic background and always opposed Oishi, who believes in relying on experience. They didn't get along at all when they all worked together at the prefectural police department.
通話が終わったようです。
The phone call has ended.
クマちゃんに聞いてみよう。
I'm going to ask Kuma-chan.
ピッポッパッと。もしもし。
Let's see. Hello?
おーっと大丈夫、私ですよ。
Oh, it's me. Don't worry.
いかがでしたか。
So, how was it? Huh?
もう対応が何から何まで全てマニュアル通りでしたね。
All his responses are straight out of the manual.
あの人、相当頭にきてますよ。
He must be so pissed.
所長の出勤を待って、朝一でこっちに直接踏み込んでくるそうです。
He'll come here as soon as the marshal gets in.
相変わらずことを派手にしたがる性分だな。
That's so like him.
てめえの体一つで喧嘩もできないんですかね。
He can't even fight by himself.
いよいよ本格的になってきましたね。
Things are finally getting serious.
言葉の端々に何やらきな臭いものを感じてきますよ。
I could smell something nasty in everything he said.
さあ、次どう出るかが楽しみですよ。
Looking forward to seeing whatever comes next. Well, things are getting interesting now. What's up next? Hey, demons, over here. Come further in.
ああ、そういえば大石さん。
Oh, by the way, Oishi-san.
祭りの日の遺失物扱いだってことで、ひなみ沢町内会からカバンを預かっていますよ。
I received a bag from the Inamizawa Town Council that someone apparently lost on the day of the festival.
カバン？
A bag?
それはどんなやつですか？
What's inside?
一応確認しましたけどね。
I checked it earlier.
どうやらカメラとフィルムの類ですね。
There's apparently a camera and some kind of film.
どうしましょうか？
What should we do about it? Alright. I totally planned on reading more. I totally did. But I feel as if I'm bringing down the quality of the story and the stream by constantly
この際だからマジに言わせてもらいますよ。
by constantly making mistakes while reading and speaking. So I apologize for that. Both for the not continuing and for messing up a bunch tonight. It makes me feel bad. I don't know if it's just if I'm mentally tired or I'm rusty because it's been a little bit. I don't know. So apologies once more. But what I'll do is for Saturday, we'll be back to reading more Higurashi, and I'll hopefully, fingers crossed, if nothing pops up, be able to do a good portion of a Saturday stream, a good chunk of a Saturday, reading Higurashi here, to to make some decent progress. Good chance then, maybe, I know what I said at the top of the thing, and we might not finish, this might bleed then into not being able to finish this arc on Saturday, unless we maybe read a whole ton. But then it might just be, you know, Saturday and one more stream to finish it. So we'll see. Again, massive apologies on my end. But yeah, I'd rather, I mean, like I said, I meant to read, and I could probably read for another hour, hour and a half, 2 hours or whatever. I just feel bad that I'm constantly slipping up on words and stuff. It makes me feel bad, and it's probably not the funnest thing to listen to amongst everything else you have to deal with my voice and all. So we'll leave it up there tonight. We'll take it easy. We'll call it a night. I'll be back tomorrow. The Nintendo Switch 2 thing is happening super early in the morning. If I had the ability, or I should say if I had the energy, and I could guarantee I'd wake up early enough before work, I would do a stream for it. But I can't really confirm that I'd be able to do that because I enjoy sleeping in as much as I can in the mornings, let's be honest. So yeah. And sometimes it takes my body several alarms to wake up anyway, so I can't guarantee I'd even be up in time. I'll probably miss the first bit of it, if I'm being honest. So we'll maybe talk about it though on stream tomorrow night. Because we'll also be playing Pokemon, so that Nintendo connection. Maybe Pokemon is shown a bit tomorrow, who knows? But it'll be fun. It's fun, it's interesting. It's interesting to see what Nintendo's going to do and how they're going to do this. I know we know a lot about, you know, the Switch 2 at this point, but I'm curious to see how they present it tomorrow. So that's fun. Pokemon tomorrow. Friday is going to be Year 2 vinyl showcase video stream and music. We'll just probably talk about music for a bit. Something a little different. If that's your jam on Friday, that'll be Friday night. And that probably won't be all Friday night. I'm assuming we'll probably do something else as well. And then, yeah, Higurashi back on Saturday. That's the plan to finish up the week. So have yourself a nice rest of your night. I hope you enjoyed this return back to Higurashi a bit here. We'll do more. We'll dedicate. I'm committed. I'm still committed to Higurashi, finishing all these console arcs, whether you like it or not. Can't lose steam. Until tomorrow night, take it easy.